Brian Schottenheimer has promised that changes are coming for the Dallas Cowboys after the bye week. We're going to look at some of what those might be, some of which he's pretty much outright stated are going to be the case, but I do want to get into what these changes are likely going to be for the Cowboys as we get out of the bye week. 6 of them we'll break down. First up, one of which Schottenheimer has confirmed. He had some praise for it. We broke it down recently. 5-man fronts, I think, are going to be a more plentiful outcome here for the Dallas Cowboys. This was one of the things we discussed following the Quinnen Williams trade. Had some images of these 5-man fronts, some stats on them. 5-man fronts, especially on early downs, are going to be pretty key, I think, for the Cowboys because of the presence of Osa and Quinnen and Kenny Clark. Per ESPN, the Cowboys have played 43 snaps this year with 5 defensive linemen, some of which are 3 defensive tackles, some of which are 3 defensive ends, and then 2 of the other. It's actually the 3rd most in the NFL. 27 of those snaps actually came against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, part of that is Arizona runs a ton of not just 2 tight end, 3 tight end packages, but 6 offensive lineman looks. So it actually does make a lot of sense to deploy extra offense or extra defensive linemen in that scenario. The Cowboys got very good results out of it. They're going to keep doing it. How much? We'll see exactly. The addition of Quinnen Williams gives them a gravity player up front that they didn't have once they got rid of Micah Parsons. The sack numbers aren't there. The pressure numbers are still pretty solid. His best year was in 2022. You guys know who his defensive line coach was that year? It's a guy named Aaron Whitecotton, who is the Cowboys' current defensive line coach. Dallas will do some rotations. They will do Quinnen Williams and Osa and Kenny Clark. Solomon Thomas now slides back down to that 4th spot along the defensive line. And he's got some flexibility to maybe try some defensive end, some base end stuff as well. I think there is some potential position flex there for Solomon Thomas and even Osa. We'll see what the Perrion Winfrey role looks like when he returns. I don't know how much more we're going to see of the 3 defensive end 5-man front. I think the Cowboys are going to lean very heavily on the 3 defensive tackle side of things. Ezraku's been really good as of late. Same with Jadeveon Clowney. Dante Fowler has been a flashy player as a pass rusher. He's not an elite run defender. Same with James Houston. Cowboys desperately need Sam Williams to step up. He has to show up and do better, especially as a run stopper in this Cowboys defensive end room. So what is your confidence level right now in the Dallas Cowboys? Scale it for me from 1 to 10. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. The very simple change is they're going to have different players now. Not just playing, but actually on the active 53-man roster. We mentioned Quinnen Williams. That's the obvious one. We spent a lot of time on him. Perrion Winfrey has been designated to return from IR. He should be making his return. Maybe not in time for the Raiders game, but soon. DeMarvion Overshown, expectation there is he's going to be back. Logan Wilson is joining the team now following his trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. Those 2 could be your starting linebackers. We'll see. Shavon Revel is going to make his debut, in theory, against the Raiders. So we'll see if he's active or not, but he should be off of IR by then. We'll see about Trayvon Diggs. I don't know. That one is extremely up in the air right now. Malik Hooker, the safety, has a chance to return at some point soon. I do think Donovan Wilson is back for the Raiders game. So maybe it's not all 8. Maybe it's 6. That's half your defense in terms of starters. Now, rotation-wise, it's probably closer to a third. But that is a significant amount of change for the Cowboys on the defensive side of the ball. Linebacker-wise, Jack Sanborn is currently on IR. We'll see if and when he ends up making his return. He's going to miss at least 4 games. I guess 3 games now because he missed the last one. DeMarvion Overshown on the PUP list. He's, in theory, going to be back. Maybe no more Kenneth Murray. A lot of change there in that linebacker room, but you've also got the potential of, you could always you want to do some, true 3-4 looks. Ezraku as a stand-up outside linebacker. Overshown or Leofau could handle that other stand-up outside linebacker role if you needed them to. Live better longer with Bubs Naturals. For a limited time, get 20% off your entire order with code CHAT at bubsnaturals.com. If you are like me, you are old now. The joints don't recover the same way they used to. Recovery in general from the day before or night before takes a little bit longer. Hair is, at least for me, thankfully, is still holding up okay. My barber charges me double, thanks in part to Bubs Naturals Collagen Peptides. They help restore college levels closer to what your body naturally had in its youth, so your joints feel stronger, your hair and nails grow healthier, and your skin looks smoother. Collagen is the most abundant protein, often referred to as the glue that holds our bodies together. There's no junk, there's zero sugars, sweeteners, or fillers. It's third-party tested, is NSF certified for sport, Whole30 approved, so it's clean and trustworthy. Live better longer. For a limited time only, you guys get 20% off at Bubs Naturals by using code CHAT at checkout. That's CHAT. Head to BUBSNaturals.com and use code CHAT at checkout, and you're all set. After your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Support our show and tell them we sent you. That's bubsnaturals.com, promo code CHAT. Link will be in the comment section and the description of today's show. Number 3, the first two being, duh, they're doing this. Number 3 is, I hope they do this. This is, again, more man coverage. They have upped their rates in the last half of the first half of the season. They played it 4 times in week 6. That was a 16% rate. Week 7 was 18 over half the time. It dipped down in week 8 where they didn't run really any man early on in the game, then did a little bit more. Week 9, they actually ran more man early and then dialed it back a little bit. These are all per Summer Sports, by the way. The stats in man coverage and zone coverage. Note, none of it's good. Just acknowledging that. Yards per pass is 7.3 in man, 8.4 in zone. The touchdown rate is significantly higher in man, in part red zone. Makes sense, right? Interception rate is actually higher, slightly. Obviously, it's far more picks for zone because, more plays. The success rate, which you actually want somewhere to be higher, that is defensive success rate, not success rate allowed. Defensive success rate, 50%. It's not very, that's still not very good. Versus 46.2%, which is, dead last in the NFL. EPA per play, also, not very good. 0.25, but that's a whole 0.1 better than it is in zone. And that's with all the touchdowns, by the way. The consistency in zone has been a very poor one there. Now, acknowledging that, Caelen Carson, who I do think actually fits decently in some zone coverage, is one that is worth monitoring for the Dallas Cowboys. I would frankly like to see him get a chance to showcase what he's able to do as a corner. Like I want to see what he's got. And look, I still want to get Shavon Revel his reps. I think he fits very well with. I think either. Frankly, I think he's that talented. I would like to see Caelen Carson over some of these other guys that the Cowboys have attempted to deploy and use. We can't read too much into his snaps. I know he took the victory lap on Instagram. He got targeted one time. They were just throwing it at DeMarvion Bland, who has to be better. But I do think Bland is a... I think he bounces back. Let's put it that way. Triquez Bridges had the gift-wrapped interception on a play in which he got beat. He's not an NFL starter. Sorry. Kaiir Elam, who's better in man than he is in zone, by the way, has been a featured target quite a bit this season for the Dallas Cowboys. As bad as Bland was the night before, Elam is still allowing a far higher EPA per play when as the nearest coverage defender. So, Bland is one. Let's say there's room for one more guy, and you do get Shavon Revel back and you start him or something along those lines. Or who's your next top corner? CC for Caelen Carson, or I guess Diggs comes back, whatever. CC for Caelen Carson, TB for Triquez Bridges, KE for Kaiir Elam. Understandably, a lot of this stuff focuses in on the defensive side of the football. Offensively, I would like to see more of Brevyn Spann-Ford. All the things that you are hoping to get out of Luke Schoonmaker, I would argue that Brevyn Spann-Ford actually does better. In fact, if you look at the blocking tight end grades on Pro Football Focus, it's PFF, I know. Spann-Ford is 83.4. It's actually the highest among all Cowboys players, by the way. Luke Schoonmaker is 55.6, which is essentially identical to that of Jake Ferguson, who isn't a particularly very good blocker. So at that point, why is he out there type of deal? Like, it gets very confusing. In fact, if you look at just the run blocking grades among all tight ends, BSF is one of the higher rated players at the position. Not the highest. There's some very good, just like pure run blocking guys, but he is, where did it go? I lost it. Shoot. Well, I'll look at it again later. Anyway, I have been underwhelmed by Luke Schoonmaker. I don't think he's been good enough. Oh, he's fourth, by the way. He's fourth behind other, essentially pure blocking tight ends. Spann-Ford's bigger. The stats aren't there. I've watched Schoonmaker may have to drop. I watched Spann-Ford get a big-time play called back, though, because of a penalty. I'm playing Spann-Ford more. Cowboys have not yet committed to that all the way. Who would you rather have as tight end 2? BSF for Brevyn Spann-Ford, LS for Luke Schoonmaker. Let me know in the comments section of today's show. Number 6 is maybe you have the right tackle battle, which we did mention this more in depth the other day on the Cowboys Report. Kind of led the show on Friday, frankly. The Cowboys sat Terence Steele against the Arizona Cardinals. 19 snaps for Thomas, one of them as a run-blocking snap. 48 for Steele. I thought Nathan Thomas was good on the first drive. They moved the ball quite well. And then he was a massive liability after that. He had several blown assignments. And in those 19 reps, he allowed more pressures than anyone else did for the entire Cowboys team in that game. Steele's run blocking has kind of faded a little bit. He needs to be better. Because if he's not better, he's going to get cut. But if you're going to cut him, you do kind of want to get a feel for what you have in Nathan Thomas. I haven't been blown away by him yet. I think there have been moments of he's fine. He's not a liability. With where he was drafted, if you're a backup tackle and you're not a liability, you are a massive success. But that then changes if you become the starter. So we'll see how that one plays out. Definitely worth monitoring this week at practice.